Hi everybody, Mike Baugh here, and today we're going to take a look at a CAD standard template that has been prepared for you for the sole purpose of the ladder diagram. And that is because while it's a good CAD program, it doesn't come with a library of prepared symbols. And so when you download this from Canvas, up at the top, you'll be able to see the symbols that you can use, and there's a symbol for every component on your panel, and all you have to do is copy them or drag them down to the ladder diagram. And I'm going to go through a couple of rungs and show you how easy that could be. So here's our template, and up here we can see the symbols. And there's one thing that we have to do right away, and that is change the grid spacing. Change the grid spacing to 0.04 on both of them, 0.04. And that's going to make the grid fit those little symbols a little bit easier. And when you zoom in, you'll be able to see it. If you zoom out, it might be kind of hard to see, but it'll be there and it'll help when you start putting this stuff in. So with a ladder diagram, the first thing we have to do is put in a power source. And for our panels, the power source comes in at terminals 1 and terminals 2. Terminal 1 is your 24 volts DC positive, and terminal 2 is the 24 volts common. So we're going to get the symbols for those two terminals and put them in, and that's going to be the beginning of our left and right rails. So those are our buttons over there. We're going to go over here and select our terminal board. Just kind of draw a little square, make sure it intersects somewhere around that. And we're going to copy that. We're going to put it down there. And that puts it right down there. That's going to be for terminal 1, and now we're going to copy terminal 2. There we can see the grid, and we're going to draw a rail over, and it's going to help us spot where we need to put the common terminal. So we'll hit copy, and we're going to get our red light, and we're going to put it in before we put the terminal in, and click it right in there. We're going to move that red light to the left just a little bit. There. Hit your escape key 2 times and it'll be unselected. Now we're going to zoom out. We're going to select that terminal board again, hit the copy button, and put it right over there. We're going to move that terminal board just a little bit. It's not quite lined up. We're going to put a caption inside there. That's going to be terminal 2. Pop. Zoom out. Zoom in on the other one. Go over to the text. That's going to be terminal 1. Click OK. And kind of lean it in right about there. There's 1. That went pretty fast. So we're going to copy the stop button. Make sure you get all of it. Hit that copy button again, and we'll drag the copy of that stop button down to the next rung. Hit the escape key twice, and it'll be unselected. We'll draw a rail down that, oops. We'll draw a rail down to right about there. And we'll get a line and connect the stop button to the left rail. You should have this prepared on a piece of paper and pencil or pen, just a rough draft, so you won't have to design the thing while you're drafting it. So we're going to take the normally open start button. We're going to make a copy of it and drag it down. You can see the grid is going to help us put it in the right spot. Put it right there. And we'll connect a wire to it right there. So the electricity is going through the normally closed stop, going to the normally open start. What's next? We need the relay coil. We need the relay coil. We'll copy it. And put it somewhere over there under the red light. We can move it around later if it's not right. We'll draw a wire right over to that terminal, and it's just about right. You right-click it to make it let go. Otherwise, it'll try to draw another line. And then we don't need another terminal. We just need a right rail. So we're going to go up to number 2, and we're going to draw a right rail and then connect a wire over there. So we've got 2 rails in, but it'd be kind of nice if we could do the latch. So let's take a look. What are we going to need for that? We need a normally open relay contact, and it needs to be parallel with the start button. So we'll copy that. And put it right about there. does that look? And we might have to move that around a little. Hit the move button. That's parallel. And all we have to do is hook it up with some wires. There's a multi-line. Oops. Watch it snap to that grid. That grid is our friend. So now we've got the beginnings of a ladder diagram. And it's going together pretty quick. What I'm going to do is finish building the entire ladder diagram. And I'm going to speed it up a little bit. So we're going to put a light, which is going to be our green light later. We'll put the G in there. And we're going to put it under our relay coil. We'll change that to green later. We're going to alter the length of those wires right there. Get rid of that little dot. And we need to put in a normally closed contact for our yellow light. But not like that. We'll get the light. We'll move it down there. Run a wire over there, and then move that light a little bit there. Bring the rail down. And now we've got to fix that contact. There we go. Now it's normally closed. So when the relay is off, it'll turn on that yellow light. Now we're going to use the right side of that normally open relay contact for the power for our PLC inputs and outputs. So we're going to come off of that terminal on the normally opened CR. We're going to jump over that wire that's going to the yellow light, and we're going to make the rest of our power rail. Because we can't use this power rail for the PLC inputs and outputs. The PLC inputs and outputs can only be hot when the relay's pulled in, and this is what's going to make that happen. And we're done with the right rail. right now as well. And we're going to put a terminal right here, and this is going to be where our PLC inputs and outputs connect. And I'm going to put a wire there just to kind of line everything out. And then move it around a little bit. Up, too far. There. Now we're going to get this array, and we're going to make some rows of one column. Too short. There we go. And then we can go back and modify these. We could put in our first 3 push buttons. Put them right there, and then all we have to do is modify that wire. There's our 3 push buttons. What's next? We're going to get our selector switch and HOA switch and bring them down here where we can work with them. We'll get the selector switch, move it right about there. We'll get the HOA, move it right about there. Modify the wire. And then we need to jump that side of the selector switch. And it looks like it's starting to get kind of crowded. So we're going to select the move and move those entire rungs up a little bit so we'll have more room. Okay, what's next? The order of this doesn't really matter. So we just have to pick one of these PLC inputs and outputs. And this is a good time to put in the potentiometer. And we've got a horn. And that horn has a couple of connectors that don't seem to be wanting to connect to the wire. So we can get rid of those little connectors. And just hook the wire directly to the horn. There, those guys are out of the way. And we'll connect the wires up this way. What's next? Looks like our meter is going to be next. In this meter, it's going to be a PLC input. Make it pretty. There we go. And then we have another meter, which is the PLC output. And it is going to terminals 15 and 16. And that takes care of all the connections on our terminal board. Copy that last one, put it right about there. Oh, too many. We'll go in here and change that to 15 and 16. I'm not going to do all of the terminals. I'll do one more here. The horn is terminal 3. You can change that to meter 1, change that to meter 2. And there's our ladder diagram. You can get rid of all that stuff that's left over on the top for making copies, and we are done.